So the Recovery Research Fellowship is a project of IRIS, which stands for Innovations in Recovery Through Infrastructure Support. This is a project based out of the School of Social Work at the University of Maryland, Baltimore campus. The core purpose of the Research Fellowship was to build research skills amongst the fellows, but also we wanted to build trust and relationship between community-based providers and researchers and amongst the various professional roles in the sector. The key topic of the fellowship we decided would be peer workforce integration. And we decided that because all across the sector during IRIS's initial stakeholder engagement, we heard from everyone that peer workforce integration was a common goal. The fellowship consisted of all-day in-person learning sessions delivered at the university over the course of 10 months, all leading towards fellow created and implemented research projects at their home institutions. Each month there was IRIS faculty presenters who taught the fellows about research. We also engaged guest presenters. We had research coaches meeting with fellows outside of the meetings each month. And most importantly, there was a great deal of peer-to-peer fellow learning. All these program components were created by the IRIS team and a community advisory board made up of peers, agency managers, and academics. This represents our commitment to participatory research, which was another key focus of the fellowship. From all our planning and broad outreach, a beautiful and diverse cohort of fellows came together, including over half whom were peers or people with lived experience, with the others being other agency staff like trainers, clinicians, agency managers, and some academics too.
As an academician and as a researcher, I was looking for the integration of the fellows because they represent different perspectives and different sectors of what we do. And so it was very interesting to see how they could come together, work together, have conversations about the issues they face, the needs they have, and the solutions that they have.
My initial reasons for wanting to participate in the fellowship is because I am so passionate about recovery, and I found that peer workforce integration was such an important topic and really wasn't something that was being explored.
The most benefit I can tell you about this fellowship is the education piece, to show benefits and to show light for research.
It was great getting to know each individual and learning more about their roles at their organization and finding ways that we may be able to collaborate together.
In the position paper, we identify what effective peer workforce integration looks like. We look at the different barriers to peer workforce integration and then identify prospective strategies to combat those barriers. So throughout the position paper, we've been utilizing stakeholder inputs from peer leaders in the community. We had a peer leader panel, and we also had our inputs from the fellows that we've been using in the position paper. We've also used research, literary research that we've also put in the position.
We hope that this position paper will make an impact on the peer workforce structure and how it develops in the future and how it
I hope what the impact is that places are more intentional about bringing peers into their workforce, that it can be a guide for places that are bringing peers in for the first time, or maybe places that brought peers in and now they're not sure what to do for them. But I really like to see peer work, be effective, and to be effective, I feel like people have to have a plan and guidelines and learn from other people's mistakes.
So the research project we wanted to focus on was starting a syringe exchange program, or SEP, at Paul's Place on our outreach efforts. Backgrounds were we started surveying, and through the surveys, we analyzed the quantitative and some qualitative through some of statements that participants had given us, and pretty much right now we're in a preliminary period, so it'll probably be a more extensive study throughout like the year, and it's giving us a better understanding of what a syringe exchange program and how beneficial it would be.
One thing I've noticed is that Damain has increased his understanding of the research process in general, especially as it pertains to program development for our peer recovery advocate program that he leads.
My study focuses on knowledge gaps that I've seen within the emergency department of the hospital I work in, Franklin Square Hospital. Working there for 2 years, you overhear things, people make statements and so forth. And that really motivated me to try to examine where are some of the knowledge gaps within the emergency department, things such as emergent drugs, the role of ESPER, and also the impact of stigma upon patient treatment and care.
Well, Paul has a wealth of knowledge around addictions, addiction services, and I was just so impressed with how he had all of this knowledge and also had this real desire to change and improve services. I think Paul, through this experience, really thought about how he could use his passion, his knowledge, and kind of direct it in a way to start thinking about how he could then improve services and systems.
The impact on me has been, it's really made me feel a part of a community, and getting to know so many people working in this space. I feel way more grounded and connected to the larger landscape of people working in substance use in Baltimore City, and really expanding to the state of Maryland as well. It's given me the tools and the knowledge to be a much better researcher and to understand how to employ peers and work with peers on research projects in an ethical way, and then also a way that's mutually beneficial for both of us as opposed to ways that can be more exploitative.
A greater sense of knowledge, a greater sense of experience, understanding things from an academic lens and a research-focused lens. And I'd say just the overall impact is helping to ensure that we're constantly delivering quality services and we can help impact and influence other services as well.
My final call to action would just say, keep advocating. Because eventually people in leadership roles are going to listen and they're going to hear us. So just keep advocating, keep pushing forward.
It is vital to invest in continuing education, and especially continuing education for peer recovery specialists, because I see peer recovery specialists as the future of behavioral health, and to develop their skills to increase their professional efficacy through education and training will be vital to the success of behavioral health in the future.